Hello everyone, this is Thomas Kinkade. I've had the privilege over the years of creating paintings for people. That's how I got the name Painter of Light. People would look at those paintings and see the light. They would see hope, they would see inspiration. And as the Painter of Light, I've been able to share my work with literally millions of people. It gives me great comfort to know that art is something that can inspire the heart, can bring the generations together as parents share the art with their children, with their grandchildren. It ties families together. It's a way of celebrating what is good in life. Mountain Paradise, like all of my paintings, has a very personal meaning to me. I often think that most of my art can be traced to childhood experiences in one way or another. As a kid, I always wandered all over the Sierras looking for subject matter to paint. In fact, I was kind of a vagabond. I remember having my sketchbook in my backpack, and I would sketch on hillsides, on mountaintops, in fields, in forests. I had a tree I loved to climb up in because the deer would walk by and graze along the trail and then water themselves at a little pool that was part of a stream that seemed to cascade out of the moss-covered rocks near where I lived. I suppose it's still that way in my hometown of Placerville, in the county of El Dorado, in beautiful Northern California up in the Sierra foothills. If you get a chance, stop by that area sometime. You'll see a lot of my inspiration there. I think my wanderings over the years of my youth were in search of something very similar to Mountain Paradise. Mountain Paradise is an idyllic scene. It was really born in my imagination as I was searching through some sketches, trying to find a new way to envision a mountain landscape. You can look at some of my early paintings, the End of a Perfect Day series. Beginning with End of a Perfect Day 1, I envision a cabin at sunset with a peaceful lake nearby. In the second piece in that series, we see a cabin by a river. And again, the idea is idyllic, peaceful, natural settings with a cabin to dwell in. The other pieces in that collection reaffirmed that same theme. I suppose I have returned to the rustic dwelling or mountain cabin theme many times because somewhere in each of us there is a yearning to return to nature. Mountain Paradise really is an attempt to go a little deeper with this theme of mountain living. I wanted to create a place that was just a little beyond the realm of our natural world, something almost magical. I had a real sense as I was working on this piece that there was so much to explore. I wanted to take the trails that led off into the distance and wander along the stream or into the leafy forest and discover those quiet places where you could sit and ponder. What could be more wonderful than to look out your front porch and see the wild turkeys dancing about, the ducks coming in for a landing on the little pond, to hear the stream as it dances and gurgles its way down the hillside. I especially enjoyed the touch of a stag making a dramatic presentation on a rocky cliff just above the cabin. A waterfall in the distance suggests the power and grandeur of the natural places that are truly the creation of God's hand. And what a tranquil pool to have at your front doorstep. I couldn't resist adding in the birch bark canoe. I had a 1/3 scale birch bark canoe made of actual hand-stretched birch bark that I had purchased somewhere at a mountain trading shop. I had this in my studio as a model, waiting for the right painting to use it, and this is the chance that I needed. I could picture hopping in that canoe and silently paddling across the stream, maybe out into the mountain lake that might be up ahead somewhere. This setting reminded me of many of the older mountain ranges, in particular the Smokies and the Blue Ridge. And so as a result, I had to include some references to that country tradition of music. You can see a guitar and an old-fashioned fiddle hung underneath the eaves of the porch, just waiting for a chance for someone to strum up a tune. Country music, bluegrass, this all reminds us of the need for a simpler life. And, growing up in the country and now living in a more urbanized setting, I really daydream about the quiet places of nature. This painting is a sunset view that is early sunset. The colors are very subtle, and yet as you dim the light in the room, you will begin to see that the glowing colors of a radiant sunset really get more intense. The light that is dappling the foreground begins to glow even more. You know what it's like when you're watching a sunset and all of a sudden you're just frozen. You can't stop watching. And then as you bring the lights back up slowly, ever so slowly, you begin to see nuances, subtle details that the eye had forgotten. That's part of the fun of exploring my paintings, is that I try to put a lot of details in that aren't apparent right at first. And the more you look at them, the more you discover. At least that's what I've been told many times by collectors. Mountain Paradise is the newest in my cabin and woodland scene collection. It is the second piece in my series, which is entitled Mountain Retreat. Mountain Retreat number 1 is perhaps the most popular cabin scene I've ever done to date. This powerful scene was created entirely from the imagination and features a classic Smoky Mountain cabin with a stream and a pool with, of course, some wild turkeys and deer. These have become favorite elements of mine, and I'm going to attempt to create variations on the theme of a perfect mountain retreat in this series. Each painting I do is really a way of sharing a little joy with others. I mean, you think about our life. How valuable is joy? How nice it would be to come home from a stress-filled day and having battled traffic in the evening commute and be able to put your feet up and sit back in a comfortable chair and enter that world of mountain paradise. This is truly a place where your heart can find some peace and where you can gain some rest for your soul. Well, it all does get down to inspiration, and not just the inspiration I receive as an artist, but also the inspiration I try to share with others. So hopefully something you've seen today has inspired your heart, and if it has meaning to you, maybe it'll be part of your collection, part of your home, and most importantly, part of your family. This is Thomas Kinkade once again thanking you for sharing the light. God bless.